Hey everyone, welcome back to the Django Crash Course. In this video, we will dive into Django Templating Language, also known as TTL. You will learn how Django renders dynamic content on web pages, and we will explore some of the most important template tags and filters you will use all the time. Let's get started. Django uses its own templating language to combine HTML with Python-like logic. This allows you to create dynamic web pages that respond to user input and backend data. Templates are just HTML files with some special syntax for outputting variables or for some logic. First of all, I'm going to delete this index.html. In my views.py, I have this index view. First of all, we are going to learn about template inheritance. In the templates folder, I'll create a new file, base.html. This base.html is going to have the common code that has to be there for each of these templates, so that we only write the part that changes. In the base.html, I'll put the boilerplate HTML code document. Instead of writing any title here in the title, I'll put this tag for creating a block title. After that, and block. What this essentially does is it works like a placeholder, and we can write the content that has to be put here in the other templates. Similarly, we will create our navigation bar here with a few links. So right now I've created this navigation bar and it has to be common in all the templates. After that, I will put here just like this. I'll create a block content and close the block content and block. After that, we can write the other common part that has to be shared among all the templates, footer. For now, I'll just write here h3. This is Django Crash Course. Alright, all done. Now I'm going to create here in the to-do folder my index.html file again, index.html. Now instead of writing this boilerplate code every time, I'll just say percentage extends. I'll give the path to my file. It is in the previous folder, so /base.html. With this, my index.html is going to be inheriting the content from this base template. In the index.html, for outputting the title of my index page, I'll use this block. I'll put it here, and between this I can write here my awesome to do app. After that, for the content, I'm going to use this block, and between this block I can write my HTML code like this. This is the home page of my awesome to do app. And we'll just put some dummy text here. Alright, that's it. Let's run the project. First of all, activate the virtual environment, source venv/bin/activate, and then python manage.py run server, and the server has started. Let's open it up, and here you can see the index page has the navigation bar, has the footer. It also contains the content in the block content. Moreover, the title is present here, the same title that we have given here. If I update it to awesome to dos, and if I go and check again, reload, awesome to dos. So this text that comes between this block title is being put here in the title tag. The one in the block content is being replaced by this, and finally we have our complete template. So instead of writing this again and again, we simply inherit from the base HTML and we write only the part that is going to change. After this inheritance, so to inherit from a template, you will use this extends tag and you pass it the path in double or single quotes. This path is relative to our current template. For index, you can see the base.html is outside the to-do folder, so that's why we have put double dots, which means previous folder. Next, we are going to look at the URL tag. If you see here, we haven't put the href for these links. If you try to click on any of the link, it just reloads a page. We are not going anywhere from this index page. For this, one thing that can be done is just put this path in here in the link. My to-dos, if I put it here and if I go back, reload, we are being sent to my to-dos. Now the problem with this is if anything changes, I'll have to fix this URL every time. If I just make a small change here, I might have to do the change in many places. For that, Django provides us with a URL tag. URL, use the curly brace, percentage URL, and you give the name of the URL. So here we have name for each URL. So instead of writing directly the string, path string, we write the name, and Django is going to automatically put the name at the correct place. Here we are going to put my to-dos. For the next one, we'll again use the URL tag, URL. For new to do, it is create task. Put it here. For the index, it is simply index. So percentage URL, index is the name of URL. Once this is done, we can go reload the page and we can move around in our app. The URL tag is going to automatically insert the correct URL here. Till now we have done two tags. One for inheriting, second for URL. The next one that we are going to look at is outputting a variable. To output variables, firstly we'll go to our view function and we are going to provide a variable to our templates. Let's give it the title that we want to put, and I'll write here awesome Django. I've created a variable, given it a value. Now I'm going to pass it in the context. I'll write just context curly brace, title is e title. With this, we will have access to this value from the view function. I'll open up index.html And in the h1 I'll replace this code. To output the value passed from the function, I'll put double curly brace and the name of variable that I have passed to the template, its title. Done. If I move back and if I reload, we can see awesome Django as the output here. We are displaying the value of variable passed to the templates from the view function. Just a recap, we use double curly brace to output a variable. Next, some common templating tags. In my view function, I'm going to create a list. Let's just fetch it from the database. Tasks equal to task dot objects dot all, and I'm going to pass it here. Tasks is tasks. Go to the index.html, and after this p tag I'm going to create a ul tag for unordered list. To output the to-dos here, I'm going to use for loop tag. For that, you put curly brace percentage for task in tasks and then end for. This end for denotes that the loop ends here. Now between these opening and closing tags, we are going to put our li tag. Between the li tag, we are going to output the task dot title, like this. Just see here, we are simply outputting the value of this variable, just like here. This is going to print the title of all the tasks. If I go back and reload, you can see the titles being printed. So this is how you use the for loop in Django templating language. Let's go back and see our base.html. In this base.html, this navigation bar is a common part in all the pages. And when we are working with HTML, if you just look at it, you are looking at much of the code that we don't need to work with. Now to divide this page into the components, we can use the include tag. I'll just create a folder here. I'll just call it components slash navbar.html. Basically, I have created a navbar.html file in this components folder. I'm going to cut the navigation bar here from here. I'm going to put it in the navbar.html like this. I have separated the navigation bar into one file. I'll create another one for the footer.html, and I'm going to put the code from here, the footer code in the footer file. That's it. Now to use my navbar and footer in the base.html, I'm going to use the include tag. Percentage include, and then you provide the path. Go to the previous folder, into the components folder, components, and the name of the file is navbar.html. After the string, you put percentage. Similar to this, we are going to output the footer.html. If I go back and reload, to use the navigation bar and the footer here, we are going to use the include tag. Percentage include, pass path to the components slash navbar.html. And similar to this, I'll copy, paste here, change navbar to footer. And that's all that we need to do to use these two components. Wait, we forgot to put here percentage, right? Everything is fine. Let's reload. and you can see everything works the same. Now the only thing is that this include tag makes it easier to create fragments of different parts. It allows you to create components and you can manage them individually. Footer, all the code related to footer can be written here. The code related to navbar can be written here. And then you can put it in your base.html or any other templates. So that's how you use include tag. Next, I'm going to pass a condition here. I'm going to pass a boolean. Let's say there is authentic variable is authenticated and it is equal to false. I'm going to pass this value is authenticated. The value is authenticated. Basically we have supplied this variable from view function to the templates. If I go to my templates and if I want to show something conditionally, I can do that using the if tag. To do that, we are going to use curly brace %if, and then you write the condition is authenticated. Similar to the for loop, we'll write at the end if. In case of for loop, it is end for. And now we can write here user is authentic. Now to write the else part, you can do this %else put it here. Now this is a proper if else. If it is true, output this line, else output this line. Let's test it out. If I go and reload, the user is unauthentic. If I go back to my view function and change this value to true, save it and reload, user is authentic. So this is how you write if else in Django templating language. Curly brace %if is authenticated %. At the end, don't forget to use end if. Many times you will need to use filters. For example, here we are printing task.title. If you want to put it in uppercase, you can use this symbol which is for filter and you provide the name of filter upper. Save it. If I reload, you can see all the titles are turned into uppercase. Similar to that, if you want to calculate the length, you write length. If I reload, 667. If you want to output a date, you can use the date filter. Today equal to date time dot UTC now and pass it as today. Save it, go to the index. After this if statement, we'll output the date, which is today, filter date, and the format of date is year, month, and date. Save it, reload, and you can see here year, month, date. That's a wrap on Django templating language. You now know how to use template tags, filters, and inheritance to build clean dynamic web pages in Django. If you got any question, drop them in the comments. Like the video and subscribe for more Django tutorials. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.